Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
In the B2B tech ecosystem, it is astounding that 70% of marketing fails to connect with customers. However, understanding how to craft your brand's narrative transforms the prose into a compelling story. Today, we are diving into how tech companies can build powerful, customer-centric narratives that drive engagement and growth through actionable strategies. First, you will learn a proven framework for creating impactful marketing messages, including identifying your customers' core desires, positioning your brand as a guide, and structuring your marketing materials for maximum clarity and effectiveness. Then, drawing from my experience scaling tech startups, we will explore strategies that yield measurable results. Finally, subscribe to the Marketing Execution Podcast for weekly insights on scaling tech companies with effective marketing. Now, you do not want to miss this conversation as Tim and Lisa unpack the most essential marketing strategies for telling your story.
Okay, so today we're diving deep into Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand.
We're going beyond just the surface level, though.
Yeah, we're talking like really practical takeaways here.
Using your short form summary to unearth some of those golden nuggets.
Exactly. And I think it's interesting because, we talk about brand storytelling.
Right.
And like everybody throws that term around these days. It's everywhere.
But how many brands actually get it right?
Totally. It's one of those things where, everyone understands the power of story.
Right.
But when it comes to actually implementing it, it's like, where do I even start?
Yeah, it's like, how do I make my brand a story?
Yeah.
And I think that's where Miller kind of nails it with this framework.
Definitely. He gives you that step-by-step, right? He breaks it down. And he really emphasizes this idea that the customer is the hero.
Always.
Not your brand.
The brand is not Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Right. The customer is.
100%. And so many brands, they get it wrong because they try to make themselves the hero.
All about them. We're so great, and look at all the great things we do.
Right. And it's like, okay, but what about me? What's in it for me as the customer?
Exactly.
So how does Miller propose we actually shift that focus? Like, what's the first step?
Well, he introduces this thing called the StoryBrand 7-part framework, or as we call it for short, SB7.
Okay, SB7.
Catchy, right?
I like it.
But basically, it's like a blueprint for how to structure your brand's message.
So it's not just about like coming up with a clever tagline.
No, it's way more than that. It's about weaving a narrative, positioning your customer as the hero, and each of the 7 parts plays a specific role.
Okay, so instead of just listing out the 7 elements like a shopping list, let's dive right into the heart of why they work. Like, take the villain, for instance. Every good story needs conflict, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But how do we apply that to something like selling toothpaste?
Right, because you're not going to have like Darth Vader coming after you when you don't brush your teeth.
Exactly.
I know that would be terrifying.
It would be effective. But I think Miller's point is, even if the problem seems kind of mundane, you can still personify it.
Totally. Think about those old commercials with the animated scrubbing bubbles.
Yes.
Right? You're not just fighting grime, you're battling a whole army of dirt.
And it works.
It totally works.
Mm.
Our brains are wired for that kind of conflict. So instead of just saying, fight cavities, you say, vanquish the villain of plaque.
Suddenly, brushing your teeth feels like an epic quest.
Exactly. It's way more engaging.
And I think that ties into the idea of like really identifying your customer's want.
100%.
Miller argues it's not enough to just understand what they want on the surface.
Yeah.
We need to connect it to like those deeper human needs.
Yeah, like what's the why behind the what?
Right. So it's not just, I want a cup of coffee. It's, I want that feeling of like energy and focus.
Right. Or that moment of peace. Like, I need a break.
Yes. Or even like, I want to feel like I'm part of something.
Community.
Belonging. Yeah, exactly. So it's about tapping into that.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think the whole guide element comes in.
Okay, so your brand is the Yoda to your customer's Luke Skywalker.
I love that analogy.
Right. You have the experience. You have the wisdom. The plan. to help them overcome their challenges and reach their goals.
But there's a fine line between, like, being a helpful guide and being a know-it-all.
Oh, yeah. No one likes to be lectured to.
Exactly. So how do we strike that balance?
I think it comes down to empathy and showing, not just telling. Think about the mentors you've had.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't just stand there and bark orders at you.
Right.
They listened. They offered advice based on experience. But most importantly, they believed in you.
And that's what your brand should do.
Exactly. You need to show your customers that you get them, that you understand their struggles.
So instead of just boasting about how great your product is, you're saying, hey, we've been there. Exactly.
Understand your pain points.
And we have the solution.
Yes. Okay, I love that. So how do we actually show that empathy? What are some practical ways to do that?
Well, testimonials are huge.
Okay.
Real people sharing their real stories about how your brand helped them.
Because seeing is believing.
Exactly. And then case studies can be really powerful too.
So it's not just, we're awesome, it's look how we helped this person achieve X, Y, and Z.
Right. And user-generated content can be gold.
Oh, yeah. Like, let your customers become your brand ambassadors.
Exactly. They're the ones who are living and breathing your brand. Let them tell their stories. And it's not just about, like, individual pieces of content, right? Miller talks about this idea of your whole website being a story.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So it's not just about having one good tagline or one good ad.
Right.
Your website should be a story-driven experience.
Yes. And I think that makes so much sense because, like, when you land on a website, you want to be taken on a journey.
Right.
You want to be guided through, like, here's the problem, here's the solution, and here's how we can help.
And here's where you click.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Miller even talks about, like, creating a brand logline.
That's so key.
Which I think is such a cool idea.
Yeah, it's like a movie trailer for your brand, but just in a sentence or two.
Yes. Okay, so give me an example. Like, how would you write a brand logline for, let's say, a company that sells, I don't know, like organic baby food?
Okay, so instead of just saying, we make healthy baby food, which is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Right. You could say something like, give your little one the gift of healthy eating, right? With our delicious, organic baby food mad with love.
Ah, I love that.
It's hitting those emotional points.
It is. And it's speaking directly to, like, the parent.
Yes.
And their desire for, like, wanting what's best for their child.
Exactly. And it's establishing the brand as that trusted guide.
Okay, so we've got our website, we've got our log line. What about something like email marketing? Oh, email, so important. Miller talks about using email sequences to really nurture those leads.
So it's not just about, like, bombarding people with promotions and sales.
No, it's about providing value.
Oh.
Giving them information they can actually use, sharing insights, building that trust over time.
So it's like you're giving them a little taste of what life could be like.
Exactly.
With your brand by their side.
Yeah.
It's like a sneak peek into their heroic future.
Okay, I love that. But, like, how do we make those emails actually engaging?
Well, I think storytelling plays a huge role here too.
Okay.
So instead of just sending out, dry, boring newsletters, think about how you can incorporate those customer stories.
Oh, the testimonials.
Yeah. Testimonials are huge.
Okay.
Because they provide that social proof.
Right.
Like, hey, this is a real person and this brand actually helped them.
Right, because we tend to trust other people who are like us.
Exactly. More than we trust like a fancy advertisement.
Totally.
So instead of just saying, like, our customers love us, you could share a story about how, like, your product helped the busy mom reclaim her mornings, or how your service helped an entrepreneur finally launch their dream business.
Ooh, I like that because those are stories that people can connect with.
Exactly. They're relatable. They're inspiring. And that's what makes people want to take action.
Okay, so we've talked about testimonials. We've talked about email marketing. What about this idea of, like, referrals?
Oh, referrals are like gold, right?
Yeah.
Because who better to tell your brand story than, like, those happy customers who are already out there living their best lives thanks to your brand.
Right. They become like walking, talking testimonials.
Exactly. And Miller talks about the importance of actually building a system for this, right?
Okay.
Like, incentivize those referrals. Reward your loyal customers for spreading the word.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
The customer wins, your brand wins.
Everybody wins.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from the website to email marketing to referrals. And I think it's amazing how, like, Miller ties all of these pieces together under this StoryBrand framework.
It's all connected, right?
It is. It's all part of this bigger story.
And it comes down to this. Stop talking about yourself so much and start telling stories that put your customer at the heart of it all.
Yes. Make them the hero. Position your brand as the guide.
And watch the magic happen.
And it's not just about solving a problem, right? It's like taking it to that next level.
It's about transformation.
Yes.
Transformation.
Hence the real magic.
Okay, so break that down for me. What does that look like in terms of like brand messaging?
Okay, so Miller talks about this idea of the aspirational identity. Like, how do your customers see themselves ideally?
Okay.
And how can your brand help them become that? So it's like you're not just selling a product, you're selling a better version of themselves.
Exactly.
So if you're selling like fitness equipment, it's not just about helping someone lose 10 pounds.
Right.
It's about helping them become that person who's like strong and confident and healthy.
Who's running marathons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like rocking a swimsuit on the beach feeling amazing.
Exactly.
It's about painting that picture of like their best self.
And your brand is right there alongside them every step of the way, cheering them on.
I love that
But
because it becomes so much more than just a transaction.
It's a partnership.
Yes. And it's a journey. And I think Miller makes this really interesting point about like marking those transformations.
Oh, celebrating the wins.
Yes. Big and small, right?
Yeah, like a graduation ceremony.
Okay.
Or getting a promotion.
Right. Or even just like a shout out on social media, you know, like, hey, we're so proud of you for like showing up for yourself today.
It's acknowledging that progress because those little moments of recognition, they make a huge difference.
We really do.
It strengthens that bond between the customer and the brand.
It's like they're not just buying into a product, they're buying into a philosophy.
A community.
A community, yes. Okay, this has been amazing. I feel like we've like really unpacked so much here today.
And it all comes back to story.
It really does. It's amazing how Miller like takes these complex marketing ideas and makes them so clear and actionable through the power of story.
Because story is universal, right? It's how we connect as humans.
It's true. And when you can tap into that and really make your customers feel like the heroes of their own stories, that's when the magic happens.
That's how you build a brand that people love.
Absolutely. So to our listener, as you go forth and like start applying these StoryBrand principles.
Go forth and conquer.
Yes. Remember, your customer is the hero, you are the guide, and the transformation, that's the reward.
Tell their story.
Yes, and tell it well.
The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.